have you all had a good day so far?
Yes.
Oh, we can put a stop to that now. I'm going to stay up here for a while because I feel really tall up here. I don't like it. I didn't think I was going to get back in here because I went to the toilet. I got stuck in one of the cubicles. It was like Escape from Colditz trying to get out of it. But I managed. So I'll start up here. I was going to do a YouTube video before I got here because I wanted to do the video to stop me from having to tell you this story. Because if I didn't tell you the story, then the rest of what I'm going to tell you doesn't make sense. So I didn't really want to tell you my kind of like weight loss journey because I think quite a lot of you will be well versed about it and you know how much weight I've lost. I lost about 9 stone. Now I'm still at around 8.5. So, thank you. So I've still got about 14, 15 to go. So what I wanted to do this year is I wanted to do more of a talk that will be more inspiring, that will talk to you about getting stuck and all the things that we all experience. So we'll start with the kind of like the thing, and if you've got notes or notepads on your phone, I'd encourage you to like get them ready because there will be some things that I want you to make a note of that you can remember when you leave. So I went to my group after Christmas and I put some weight on and I thought, well, you know, it's Christmas, everyone has a gain at Christmas. It wasn't a big deal, so I was like, okay, it's fine. And I went back the first week in January. I hadn't really been eating too well, so I was expecting a gain, and I lost 2 pounds, which is great because everyone loves those weeks where you kind of go, oh, and then, whoa, it's good because you don't expect it. So it was nothing, you know, it was a regular Thursday. I weighed in, and sorry. So I weighed in, and just regular chit chat, coffee, as you do at the group. And then over the course of the day, the reason it got difficult is because I can't really explain the rest of the day. But by the evening, I'd found my way to the edge of a cliff. So that's why I'll use this. So I was here. And all I had in my head was a voice saying, this is for the best, this is for the best, this is for the best. And I had a split second where I realised where I was and I stepped back. And it didn't really affect me on that day. It affected me in the weekend because at the weekend I realised that it was fractions of a second. I was in the dark, I could have taken a misstep, I could have fallen off if I wanted to or not. And the hardest thing was, I couldn't work out how I'd got from one place to the next. So the reason I wanted to share the story is because I know I'm not the only one that suffers with mental health problems. I know I'm not the only one that goes through it. And I wanted to show you that even though this has been the worst year for me mentally, I'm still at exactly the same weight as I was last year. I haven't put any more weight on. I've struggled, but I'm still exactly the same. I've carried on and I've shown that it can be done. So, thank you. So, I think one of the things is, I'm going to come down in because I feel really tall. A human trait is that we really struggle for answers. It's a human thing, we want answers. And we can't accept that some things will just be as they are. And we get stuck. So with Slimming World, it will be, we really want to do the plan, we want to stick to it, but we can't. And you can't work out what's keeping you where you are. So what I want to ask you to do is I want to ask you to close your fist. So now if you had 2 closed fists, and I threw you a golf ball, how are you going to catch it? You can't. So what you have to do to catch the golf ball, you have to let go of whatever you're holding in your hand. So whatever it is, there will be something that's holding you back, something that you're hanging on to, something you can't let go of. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a past relationship. It could be the fact that your weight is up, down. It could be a number of things. But you're like this. The first time I remember getting stuck in my life was my first marriage. And it was great. I was married, I had a house, nice car, nice holidays, a daughter. And then one day, my wife came back and she said, I don't want to be married to you anymore. And I was like, well, that's a bit of a surprise. Where did that come from? So my first question, of course, was like, why? She didn't really give me an answer. And then my next question was the logical, is there someone else? To which she answered, no. Now that made it worse for me because I didn't have those answers. I didn't have what I wanted. There was no answers. And I kept saying, why? And so I was like this, and I couldn't let go. And then eventually my need for answers manifested into anger. And I got really angry because I was like, why is this happening? And then I kept searching for answers, and then I thought to myself, you know what? Our need for answers doesn't allow us to think that sometimes things will just be what they are. If you've got friends that have had an incurable disease and they die, you think, well, why did that happen? It could be anyone. It will just be what it is. But the thing is, if I didn't let go, I would never have met Lisa. I wouldn't have 2 more beautiful kids. So if I would have just hung on, I wouldn't be where I am now. I would have just dragged this bag around behind me for the rest of my life, thinking, why? So you have to think about, what is it? What is it that you're hanging on to that's stopping you? Because I found now that Slimming World, it's about, or just the weight loss journey, it's about repetition. If I was to get, it's about repetition and standards and rituals. You can call it rituals, habits, whatever you want. If I was to stand next to Vincent, hi Vincent. If I said to you that Vincent goes to the gym 7 days a week, you'd look at Vincent and you'd like, I totally accept that. If I said to you, I go to the gym 7 days a week, you'd be like, what, for a coffee? It's like, because Vincent's an athlete, his standards, his rituals, he wants to be at the top of his game. So he knows that he has to keep to a certain standard and he won't allow himself to drop. So when we find that we're putting on weight, we seem to think that there's a bag of weight with arms and legs running around the city centre looking for us, going, oh, I've got to have you back, come back. That's not how it is. It's our rituals that have changed, it's our standards. We've gone back to the old standards. And I would go back to my old coping mechanisms, which was food. Because we all find comfort in food. But we find comfort, but we also find if we're happy, we eat. If we're sad, we eat. And I think what people don't understand is that food is one of the hardest addictions to move away from, because we don't need alcohol to survive. We don't need drugs to survive. Medical drugs, but not recreational drugs. But we need food. We can't stop eating food. So it's the hardest one to get away from. And it's a challenge every day, but every day you have to reassess your standards, you have to reassess the rituals, the habits. So for me, the best example I can give you is when I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, I went and I got my machine, and I absolutely hated it because I had this mask and it was all over and it was like, oh, it's horrible. And I couldn't get on with it. And I went back to the hospital and I said to the guy, this is just never going to work. And he said, what's wrong? I said, this thing, this mask, it's all right. He said, I'll get you a different one. And he brought me a different one, and I've used it every day, ever since, because it's just, I changed it. And then what happened is, it took some getting used to, because I would take it off, I'd put it on, take it off, but then it became repetition. I would keep going. I'd put the machine on, I'd go to sleep. Put the machine on, go to sleep. The more I did it, the more it just became second nature. So now, when I go to bed, I finish what I'm doing, put the machine on, press the button, I don't even think about it, because it's ingrained in me now, because it's the repetition. So one of the things I want you to write down is that repetition reaps results. So if you want to retrain yourself to eat, if you want the results from Slimming World, Weight Watchers, whatever it is that you're doing that you need, it's repetition. If you keep doing it, and keep doing it, and keep doing it, and keep doing it, it will become just ingrained in your life. And the thing about life is going to happen to us all. If we went around this room one by one, every single one of us has got a story. Something's happening to us. Because life doesn't pass us by. So it's how we deal with those situations and how we let it affect our choices is ultimately where we'll go. So one of the other things, there's lots of talk about social media, and obviously myself and a lot of others, we put ourselves out on social media. And I'm from the East End, as you can tell. And a friend of mine, he's dead now. He was the funniest guy, and he's one of them guys. He'd always have a saying for something. Half of them were made up, and but he had a good one. And I want you to write this one down. He said, "Opinions are like a-holes. Everyone's got one." And I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? That makes perfect sense. And he said, "And whose opinion is going to be right?" I thought, I don't know. He said, "Theirs." And then the next saying that I learned was, don't let other opinions of people, other people's opinion of you become your reality. Because we do. Because we have this constant fear. I have this constant fear. And it's things that I needn't be fearful about. So I think because of my size, that my Slimming World group think that I should be melting weight off like a snowman in the sun. And they probably don't think that, but in my head, I'm thinking, they're watching me. Every time I get on the scales, they're thinking, oh, this is going to be 5, 6, 7 pounds, and it's not. Because even at my size, it comes off big, small, none, up, down. I'm no different to anybody else. So the reason that we stop doing things is fear. Fear is the only thing that holds us back. We're always fearful of something. If you want to ask someone out on a date, you won't do it because you're worried they're going to say no. And your head's going, they're never going to say yes, so you don't bother. You want to start your own business, and you say, I'm not going to do that. I can't start my own business. And then that little voice inside that everyone thinks is not real, the little one that says, you can't start a business. What business have you got to start a business? You can't do this. You're never going to succeed at that. It's the same voice that tells you you're not going to lose weight. You're not going to get to your target. And the more you listen, the louder that voice gets. And when I was stood there, that's the only voice I could hear. I couldn't hear anything else. All I could hear over and over, this is for the best. And the same, I heard that voice that said, you can't do this. You can't do this. And I had to start saying, I can do this. I can do this. And the more I said to myself, I can, I'm doing it. And the thing is, I don't care how long it's going to take, because I just want to get where I'm going. And if it takes a bit longer, it takes a bit longer. But I'll do a short one. I wanted to do an exercise with you, and this is one of the things. No, don't smile. Not an exercise. No. What I wanted to do is it's a mind exercise, and it's one of the best things that I learned, and it's really helped me with my kind of like mental health and thinking. So I'll do a shortened version of it. It will take longer. So I want you all to close your eyes. And then I want you to visualise yourself sitting down on the side of a beach next to the water. You can feel the sun, you can hear the water, you're just sitting down. It's all nice, you can feel the warmth of the sun, you can listen to the water's gently coming up, you can feel it on your feet. Now, sitting next to you on the beach is a box. And what I want you to do is I want you to visualise this box. And I want you to think about something that's caused you some pain. Something you're hanging on to in your hand that you can't let go of. A past relationship you've got no answers for. Someone that's upset you, something that's happened to you. Think about it. But I want you to really feel the emotion of how it felt when you went through this thing, whatever it may be. How did it make you feel? And then what I want you to do is repeat this process. We'll do it twice. We'll do 2 things. But when you do this at home, think about as many things as it takes. And each time you think about something and you visualize it, I want you to place it into the box. And each time you put an individual thing into the box, think about why you're putting it in there. What's it done to you? What emotion is attached to that thing? And then when you've finished, I then want you to imagine yourself sealing up the box. So however you want to do it. Sellotape, because there's plenty of sellotape on the beach. Sellotape, string, just visualize yourself sealing up this box. And as you're sealing the box, keep your mind focused on the contents of the box. Why is it in there? What's it for? And then I want you to see yourself. Remember the sun, remember the sound of the water, remember where you are. Then I want you to just gently place the box on the side of the water and push. And just sit and watch this box gently, gently float away. And just watch it, and watch it, and watch it. And watch it disappear off to the horizon. And as you watch the box float away, I want you to just think that that box is carrying away with it every harmful, hurtful thing that you've gone through is leaving you with that box. And just watch until it's gone. I'll give you a second. Okay, open your eyes. I see a different set of looks on your faces. Some of you have put some stuff in that box, I can see. The next exercise after that is a really simple one. I want you to spend just a minute or 2 thinking about all the things that you're grateful for, all the things that you overlook, all the things that you take for granted. Could be something simple. Your partner, your kids, the fact that you are big, but you've still got your mobility. Could be anything. Think of the things that mean something to you. The things that don't cost any money. The things that are free. Just think about those. Because now what you've done is you've pushed away the negative energy, and now you're focusing on the positive. And that's all you've got to do. And as you go through your Slimming World journey, keep thinking about the positive things. Keep thinking about, people say you've got to live life. I say to those people that now I'm not even halfway through my journey and I'm living the best quality of life I've lived in as long as I can remember. Because for me, life is about doing things with my kids. It's about feeling better. I can do so much more now than I ever used to be able to do. And that, for me, is living life. So think about what it is that you want. Think about the goals. Think about how you're going to get there. And the biggest tip I will give you, because I did it this year when I wasn't feeling good, is stop comparing yourself. Don't look at other people. Don't look at me. Don't look at Debbie. Don't look at Patrick. Don't look at people in your group, because we're all different. We're all going to go at a different speed. If we all left this room right now and we were going to Aberdeen, big up to the people from Aberdeen who are here, where are they? Oh, you're there, hello. It's just you. Big up yourself. So if we left, some of us went on a car, some of us on a plane, some went on a train, some went on a coach. Things are going to happen. There might be traffic on the motorway. Plane might get delayed. Train might get delayed. Anything could happen. You might have a 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 mile tailback. But we're all still going to Aberdeen. We haven't changed where we're going. We're just taking a different way. It's going to take a little bit longer, but we're still going to the same place. It's not changed. So concentrate on where it is that you're going. Don't worry about how long it's going to take, because you're ultimately still going to the same place. And that's it. Thank you very much.
I don't know about you, but I feel 30 stone lighter now.
Any questions? Any questions?
Can we have another mic, please? We'll have to share.
We'll share.
We'll share.
Yeah, any questions for Andy or Debbie?
No questions.
No questions? Yes, hold on. Coming through. Body magic, speed walk.
And don't forget that Andy is on YouTube as the Hairy Slimmer.
Yeah. There you go. Do you have a question? Yeah.
Andy, that thing that you said about the water in the box,
Yes.
and you've been like, say like you put it in a box and you want to forget about it.
Yes.
What if you're still going through it and you're not, and it's an ongoing thing, and you're not ready to let go of it because it's still with you?
I'll talk to you after. I mean, there's ways to. I mean, you can. It's all down to execution, because you can make the decision to change anything in your life like that. But it's the execution and the follow through. So depending on. I mean, I don't know what the situation is. You won't want to go into it. So I'll talk to you about it. But there will be ways.
My husband, he's dying.
Yes.
And I don't want.
Yeah.
You know, not yet, you know?
Yeah.
And I've got another one with my dad. He passed away New Year's Day 2016.
Yeah.
And I don't want to let him in the box to let go either. You know what I mean? You know?
No.
Both
I mean,
of them, you know, they're my role models, you know?
Yeah, of course. What I would say in that instance is, I mean, just well, first of all, what I would say in that instance is, just by a show of hands, how many of you in this room at some time or another in your life have bought a new computer? Okay. So when you buy a new computer, what's the first thing you do? You sort out the old computer, right? So the first thing you do is you look on the hard drive, right? What's the hard drive? What does it do? Exactly. So on the hard drive stores photos, music. So we could say that probably 85 to 90% we could summarise as memories, right? So you go on to your hard drive and you look at stuff and you think to yourself, okay, that's important, I'll keep that. This I'll keep, because it brings memories. And then there's always going to be stuff that you think, I don't need that. So I'll delete that. So you delete it. So your body and your mind has this own process, and it's grieving. So when the time comes, your body will, on its own, will start the process. So as far as the box technique is concerned, you don't need to do that for that situation, because your body, your mind will take care of that for you, because what it will do is it will start to cleanse your own hard drive, which is this, and it will allow you to grieve. It will allow you to move away the things that you don't need and delete, and over time it will bring back the important stuff. Because I got stuck twice again in my life. Once was the 20th, I remember the date, 20th of December 1999. I went and saw my dad, and my dad had been ill before, and he was complaining about something, and he said, I don't feel very well. And I said, well, do you want to go to the doctors? And he said, no, I'll be all right. And I said, are you sure? I said, I'm here, I'll take it. He said, no, I'll be all right. So I said, look, I've got the car, I'm going home. If you change your mind, ring me. He said, no, I'll be fine. That's the last words we ever spoke to each other. 22nd of December, I got a phone call that my dad had been found in his flat. So I got stuck because I asked myself all these questions. Again, it was this. I said to myself, what if? What if I would have said to him, I'll take you to the doctors. What if I would have insisted? But when I said to you about sometimes things will just be as they are, it's a human thing. You're not alone. You're not the only person that will refuse to accept why. It's a human thing. And I couldn't accept that my dad had gone. I got stuck again when my mum died because my mum took care of my brother. And my brother has epilepsy, he's on the autistic spectrum, he's got a learning disability. I'm now his power of attorney. So as well as taking care of my own life, I have to run his, which is really demanding. And my mum would take care of him every day. And she paid the ultimate price because she didn't take care of herself. And I got a phone call from my brother saying there was an ambulance at my house taking my mum to the hospital. And I was like, okay, what's wrong? She said, she can't breathe. I was like, okay. So I turned up, and my mum was a really strong woman. And for the first time ever that I can remember, when I saw her in the hospital, I saw fear in her face. She looked worried. And as time went on, I got that sinking feeling that she wasn't coming out. And I got a phone call from the consultants saying she wasn't responding, and a couple of days they'd do some more treatment, but there might be a conversation to be had. And that conversation came a lot quicker than I anticipated. It was less than 48 hours. And I went back in, and they said that they tried all the treatment, my mum wasn't responding, her organs were failing, and they left me to ponder turning off the machine, because it was the machine that was keeping her alive. And I had to think about it. And I couldn't shoulder this with anybody. I couldn't talk to my brother, because my brother wouldn't understand. So I had to make this decision on my own. And again, I found myself stuck because I didn't want to let her down, because she was such a strong woman. I didn't want her to feel like I'd given up on her. So again, and I remember it was different with my mum, because I was there and I held her hand and said goodbye, and that was that. But I still had questions, and you're always going to have questions, but it's just over time the brain will work itself, and you'll start, now I had several trips with my dad to New York. If I see a film and I see New York, I think of my dad. He was a big fan of Dire Straits. His favourite song was Walk on Life. If I hear that on the radio, I instantly think of my dad. And that's your brain. Your brain and your body will bring back everything you need, so those people never leave you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please thank Debbie and Andy? I think it's time for a little break. We are going to do a 15-minute break.